Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. Hope that all of you are keeping safe and well. Before we begin the session, I'd like to introduce a few admin details for you to take note of. Firstly, this session will be recorded and uploaded on the Smart Nations YouTube channel for those who would like to rewatch the session. Secondly, if you have questions, please feel free to type them using the Q&A button at the screen below. Lastly, please do not go off immediately at the end of the session, as we need your help to fill in a simple feedback survey on today's session. So thank you once again for joining us today. My name is Sinman and I'm from the Smart Nation and Digital Government Office. Hashtag Smart Nation Together is an online channel developed to introduce our community to basic tech skills and knowledge, and also introduce digital upskilling opportunities for the community. So today's session is part of our Cybersecurity Month, and we are joined by the awesome people at Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore, CSA, and the Singapore Police Force, SPF. So they will provide an overview of the latest scam situation in Singapore, as well as how to better safeguard ourselves and our loved ones against scams, among other things. So we are very happy to have with us today, Clara and Desmond from CSA and SPF in this session. So Desmond and Clara, over to you, please.
Thank you. Let me start with a short video first.
Hey, Michelle, look. I won something from the bank. So lucky.
Oh, Daddy, your phone.
Help me see, who is this from?
Oh, okay. What's your passcode?
1234.
What?
What? Is it wrong?
No, I mean, is that your email password as well?
Of course no. Slightly longer. 12345678.
Daddy, you can't do that.
Why not? It is easier for me to remember.
It's also easier for people to hack your accounts. Okay, just imagine this. You are leaving the house to buy fish for dinner, you close the gate, and then you lock the gate with a flimsy lock.
Why would I do that?
Exactly. Having a weak password is like having a weak door lock. You're just making it easy for people to just enter your accounts.
Then how?
Use a stronger password.
A complicated password are so hard to remember.
Perhaps you should use a passphrase then.
Passphrase?
It's a password that's a phrase of 5 words or more. For example, I like Bedok 85 best fish. Nowadays, many people have started using passphrases because it's easier to remember and harder to guess.
Oh, that sounds easy to remember. I will change my password now.
Don't forget to also activate your 2FA, like using your fingerprint or keying in an OTP to access your accounts. It provides another layer of protection in case someone else got your password.
Oh, okay. Hey, Michelle, look. I won something from the bank. So lucky. Better click to claim and provide my info. Otherwise, the rewards expires.
Sorry for the...
Hey, Michelle, look. I won...
It's a phrase of 5 words or more. For example, or keying in an...
Hey, Michelle, look. I won something from the bank. So lucky. Better click to claim and provide my info. Otherwise, the rewards expires.
Daddy, wait! Do you even know what contest you won?
No, I don't know. I don't really remember taking part in any of these contests. Maybe it's the bank's lucky draw for their customers?
Daddy, it's a phishing scam.
Phishing? How do they know I love phishing?
No, Daddy, not that kind of phishing. Look, the sender might be the name of the bank, but just click on it and look at that suspicious email address. Also, what kind of bank tells you to click here to claim your reward of $1,000 now, or the reward expires in 24 hours? Okay, Daddy, back to you on your way to buy the fish. While you're on your way, a man dressed in office wear approaches you and tells you he's from the bank and wants to give you some money. But he needs your credit card details and IC number immediately. Otherwise, you will not receive the cash. So you just give it to him and wave bye-bye.
Why would I do that?
You were just about to do it over email, giving away your personal and financial information freely.
Oh.
When you receive an unexpected email or SMS requesting your personal information to claim a prize, or those threatening to freeze your bank account, don't be too hasty to respond. Always look out for any signs of phishing and verify with the sender, in this case the bank, with a phone call. But don't use the contact details in the suspected email or SMS. Now, these scams can also happen over other social media apps like WhatsApp and WeChat, or even calls. Sometimes they come with suspicious links or attachments, and once you click on them, your device could be infected with malware that can steal your data.
So serious?
Yes, so if you're unsure, always check with us first.
Okay. Wow, there are so many things to be careful of online.
Yes, but don't worry. I picked up this cybersecurity handbook for you where you can find more cyber and scam prevention tips.
Oh, this is useful.
Yeah, I hope you learned something today.
Yeah, I need to go Bedok 85 best fish.
Yeah, that can be passphrase. Great.
No, all this fishy business make me remember I really need to go Bedok Market buy fish so that I can cook your favorite steamed fish for dinner. Our girl likes steamed fish. It's also a good passphrase. All this fishing business. No, all this fishy business make me remember to go. All this fishy business make me remember I need to go Bedok Market.
And buy fish?
No, all this fishy business make me remember to go to Bedok Market to buy fish. No, all this fishy business make me remember I really need to go Bedok Market buy fish.
Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the short video of a celebrity, Michelle Chong, sharing about how to stay safe online with her father. I'm Desmond from CSA, and I'm joined by Assistant Superintendent of Police, Clara Wong, and Superintendent of Police, Michelle Fu from SPF. We will be the presenters for this session on the topic of phishing and scams. I would like to start off by sharing some background of what CSA does. CSA was established in 2015 to keep Singapore cyberspace safe and secure. We oversee national cybersecurity and work with other relevant government agencies to protect the information infrastructure of critical sectors in Singapore, for example, transport, banking, and Infocom. We also engage with stakeholders on areas such as raising cybersecurity awareness, building a vibrant ecosystem, and pursuing international partnerships. So, what is cybersecurity and why is it important? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting your internet-connected devices and systems from cyber incidents. It is important because the cyber threats out there are very real and closer to us than most of us think. As you have read in the news, there have been Ocbc phishing scams and QR code phishing scams involving SingPass. As Minister for Communications and Information, Mrs. Josephine Teo has highlighted in her Facebook post, every Singaporean has a part to play in cyber defense. With the ongoing conflict in Russia and Ukraine, there is a rising number of reports globally involving scammers taking advantage of the crisis to trick people with phishing emails. So, it is important that we take the necessary steps to protect ourselves in the cyberspace. Here's an overview of today's session. We hope to help you understand what phishing is using relevant examples and share about how you can avoid falling prey to phishing. SPF will then cover scam statistics, the top scam typologies, so that you can identify scams when you come across them, and the red flags. We will also conclude with Q&A session. Do feel free to type your questions in the chat if you have any during the presentation. So what is phishing? Phishing is a method used to fraudulently obtain personal and financial information. For example, your login details, your bank account numbers, credit card numbers. Cyber criminals often disguise as an individual or reputable organization with the aim of obtaining your personal information. With your personal info, they could gain access to your online accounts and even impersonate you to scam your contacts. So it is very important that we protect our personal information in order not to give cyber criminals the chance to conduct scams. So why is it important to be wary of phishing? In 2021, 5,020 out of 23,931 scams were phishing scams. And in January 2022 alone, at least 900 phishing scams were observed. Recently, there has also been incidents of QR code phishing scams or QR codes with embedded malware, which will allow cyber criminals to gain access to the victim's personal and financial information. Let's find out what could happen when you click on a suspicious link in a phishing message. The victim's view is on the left side. So it's a live video now. When the victim enters the fake internet banking website, also known as iBanking, we can see that the web page design looks very similar to the official iBanking website. The web page requests for the victim to change his or her iBanking user ID and passcode. We can see that the passcode is 123 from the email. Password 123. As soon as the victim clicks on the submit button, the phishing website will capture and send the credentials to the email as you've just seen on the right. After receiving the credentials, the criminal proceeds to log into the victim's iBanking account now on the right-hand side via the official iBanking website. However, banks will usually have two-factor authentication, such as OTP to verify the user. Back to the left screen, in this case, the bank will send an OTP to the victim via email. In the victim's view on the left, the fake iBanking website will also direct the victim to a fake OTP page, as shown now. Similarly, the victim enters the OTP and clicks on Submit. Now the criminal will receive the OTP via email. The last step for the hacker is to input the OTP into the official iBanking website, which he's going to do now. And we can see the iBanking account is compromised. This is a short demo showing the phishing techniques. So how do cyber criminals try to trick us through phishing? They tap into the fears people have in a way that they are unable to carefully discern the signs of scam emails. For example, they may send emails that appear to be from legitimate organizations or authorities to trigger fear. This reduces our ability to think logically and catches us off guard. I will now go through ways to spot signs of phishing. Across phishing cases, there are 6 common signs which CSA has identified as the 6 signs to look out for. Firstly, please watch out for mismatched and misleading information. Scammers will attempt to mislead us into believing that the information we see is genuine. So we need to study the information closely. For emails, on the left-hand side, do look out for a sender's email address that may look like a company's official email address. Hover your mouse over links in the email, and we should be able to see a small window above the link showing the actual URL, which is the real destination of the link. If you are using a mobile phone or mobile device, long press the link to display the actual URL. If the links are mismatched, something fishy is going on. Be careful not to tap and open the link. For websites, take note of the URL. Cyber criminals create websites like the actual site and often use tricks such as substituting letters. In the picture on the right, you can see how the website may look like it is from an official SingPass website. But if you look at the URL, it is not singpass.gov.sg. There is also a broken image link of the SingPass logo. Next, scammers tend to test their luck by sending mass emails to large groups of people in hopes that someone responds. In the picture, the email asks the recipient to pay an outstanding fee to release a parcel by clicking on a link. If you receive an unexpected email, which could be about an invoice of an item you did not purchase, do not click on the links and attachments. Delete the email immediately. The third sign is the use of urgent or threatening language. By pressuring you to reply quickly, criminals hope to scare you into providing confidential information. The picture on the right is of a phishing SMS sent by IRAS Info with the words important and urgently, making you feel you must act quickly. Watch out for emails with phrases such as urgent action required or your account will be terminated. Next, cyber criminals include attachment in emails as a method to infect user device with malware or malicious software and steal data. Malware refers to malicious software that is designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to our devices. They can be unintentionally downloaded when we click on suspicious internet links. It may be instinctive to open attachments that we receive, but please be alert and look out for suspicious attachment names and file types that come in .exe, which are executables, as shown in the picture, as it could be malware and can infect your devices with virus. Also, fake offers of amazing deals or prizes are commonly used to encourage you to act immediately. For example, the phishing email or message may ask us to click on a pop-up or complete a survey to exchange for money or free gifts. The picture shows a fake Grab QR code that promised cash rewards and vouchers. However, when scanned, the QR code will lead to a site requesting for personal information. Remember that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Lastly, if you receive an email or message asking for personal details or bank account number, it should raise a red flag immediately. Most organizations will never ask for your personal or financial information to be sent over the internet. The picture on the right shows an email pretending to be from StarHub. It is telling the recipient to update his password and mobile number to receive a one-time password by clicking on a link. If you receive such requests for confidential information, please be wary and contact the organization directly to check. When in doubt, we should contact the organization directly to clarify and not use the contact information provided in the suspicious email. So here's a summary of the 6 signs that we just went through and an example to illustrate each point. Are you able to spot all these? Here are some more examples of phishing websites and SMSs impersonating FairPrice and Lazada. In the first image, the warning sign of phishing here is a URL, which is a random mix of letters and does not contain the word FairPrice. Additionally, the formatting of the last sentence is odd, as D in the word dollar is capitalized. Usually, a dollar sign is used. For the image on the right, the phishing SMS promising a price will lead to a phishing website. Note that the URL does not reflect lazada.sg, but iamyours.online. Instead, on the website, it informs the recipient that he or she has won a brand new phone. Again, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. There are phishing websites that look similar to legitimate websites. To differentiate the two, take note of the URL in the address bar of the web browser. Scammers will use tricks such as replacing letters in the URL to mislead us into thinking that we are on a legitimate website. So we have to really look closely at the URL to make sure it is correct, especially if it is a website requiring us to log in. Here's an example of a fake website that tried to trick seniors into providing their bank details to sign up for membership, and a fake Singapore Pools website that similarly tried to obtain users' card details. Here, the ICA website looks very much like the real thing with the logo, so do check the URL carefully, as government websites mainly use links with .gov.sg. Refer to the list of trusted government-related websites at www.gov.sg/trusted-sites if the link or email address does not have gov.sg in them. Here's a video on how to spot signs of phishing. So do scan the QR code and watch it in your own time. I'll give some time for you to scan the QR code for those interested. Okay, I'm moving on. Now, it is time for an activity to check your understanding. Can you tell which is a phishing message, 1 or 2? It is message 1. In message 1, the sender is reflected as 73333, which shows that it is not from a government agency. In case when links are very long, we can use a type of service to make them shorter. The government will use the official link shortener go.gov.sg. So if you see go.gov.sg, it is used by government agencies and the link is safe to visit. However, if you see something that says it's from the government, but it uses a link like what you see here with bit.ly, please do not click on it. The scammer also claims that the recipient's SingPass has expired and needs reactivation. As SingPass is needed to access many important services, the thought of its expiry will prompt the recipient to act fast. In image 2, you can see that the link has the go.gov.sg shortener. So if you receive a phishing message, call, or email, what should you do? This is a common question. Firstly, do not open any attachment or click on any links in emails that look suspicious. Report it to your email provider and delete it. Do not trust links or email addresses that claim to be from the government but do not have gov.sg in them unless you are already familiar with them. You may receive a message to follow some instructions urgently. Do not panic. Call your family or friends for advice, or you can also call the anti-scam helpline below, 1800-722-6688. Or go to the website www.scamalert.sg for more information. As QR codes are more commonly used, it is important to understand the risks and the measures we can take to prevent ourselves from falling victim to QR code phishing scams. What should you do when scanning a QR code? Check that the preview link that the QR code leads to the correct link. To scan a QR code, first point the camera at it and a web page link will appear in the picture as shown. As you can see in the red boxes in the images, this will allow you to check if you're accessing the correct link. Then tap the link to go to the website. Next, Do not scan QR codes that are in the form of stickers or flyers placed randomly in public places, especially if they offer vouchers or discounts. Also, do not scan QR codes that look like they have been tampered with. For example, torn, sticker pasted over original printed QR code. If a QR code leads you to a website that asks you to fill in your name, phone number, etc., do not share any personal or financial information unless you are sure that it's a legitimate request. For example, if you go to a restaurant and the staff asks you to scan QR code to order and pay, then you know it's legitimate. But if you go to a restaurant where the staff does not instruct you to do so, and the QR code is torn, you can then verify with the staff whether it is legitimate. Do also take note of the following when making payments through QR codes. Use only official e-payment apps. Set up bank transaction alerts by setting up email or SMS notifications to help you keep track of transactions. And check that the QR code for payments is not tampered with. If you happen to click on a phishing link, please change your password for your bank account immediately. If the revealed password is used on other accounts, change those too. Alert your bank promptly if you reveal banking details or credit card credentials. Monitor your account for unauthorized transactions and make a police report if there is money missing. Also, run a full system scan with an antivirus software. We also suggest you report to the Singapore Computer Emergency Response Team, or SingCert for short, which is under CSA under the link here shown on the bottom right, www.csa.gov.sg/singcert/reporting. So it's time for a poll. We will now have a poll to understand if you know which are the signs of phishing messages and emails. Please select an option on the Zoom poll on your screen. Sorry, I can't see the results of the poll somehow. Okay. Moving on. So the answer is 1, 2, 3, which 96% of you got it right. Go.gov.sg is the official link shortener used by the government. However, do be careful and ensure that the letters are not replaced by other characters that look similar, such as 0 or the big cap O. To recap, these are the 6 signs of phishing. Mismatch and misleading information, unexpected emails, use of urgent or threatening language, suspicious attachments, promise of attractive rewards, and request for confidential information. In the next poll, which of the following should you do if you receive an email, a phishing email? apologies to those. Actually, this should be a multiple choice poll, but due to some technical error, we didn't make it a multiple choice. I'll just give a few more moment for the replies to come in. Okay, I can see that around 76% has participated. And none of you all chose option 1 to reply to the phishing email, which is great. And around 7% of you all chose to call your family members or friends for advice. 27% of the audience said to verify if the email is legitimate with the contact details provided in the email, while the majority of y'all, 66%, said to visit www.scamalert.sg for more info or call the anti-scam helpline for scam-related advice. So the answer is actually 2 and 4, although y'all cannot select multiple, but it's all right. You should not reply to the phishing email that's given. And also, you should not contact the organization via the contact details provided in the email. Instead, search for the contact information from official sources. So 2 and 4 is the answer. All right, we have included some resources here which you can access for more cyber tips to protect yourselves. I'll give the audience around 1 minute to just go through the resources if they are interested, and then I'll pass on to my Singapore Police Force colleagues for the next segment of this webinar. Thank you. All right, thank you, and hope you all found this fruitful and useful. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my transit this to the next section of the webinar. Thanks, SPF, please.
Hey, thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Desmond. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle from the Anti-Scam Command of the Commercial Affairs Department of the Singapore Police Force. First of all, I would like to thank SNDGO for inviting us to share on scams today. I want to highlight that scams can happen to any one of us, especially when we are not vigilant enough. To better protect ourselves, it is important to understand what these scam types are, how they typically play out so you can spot the signs and avoid falling prey. Now, I will first share on the scam stats, the top scam typology, so that you can identify scams when you come across them and the red flags. I want to emphasize that fighting scams is a community effort. Scams are not going to go away, so all of us will have to play a part in the fight against scam. For the past 6 years, scam is on the increasing trend, and the rate of increase has consistently exceeded 50% for the past 3 years. Particularly, the top 4 scams of concerns are job scams, non-banking related phishing scams, e-commerce scams, and investment scams. Based on 2021 scam stats, these are the top 10 scam types. The total amount cheated in the top 10 scam types exceeded 500 million last year. Investment scams saw the highest amount cheated in total and the largest amount of 6.4 million cheated from a single victim. The other scam type with the next highest amount cheated is China officials impersonation scams, and the single victim loss is 6.2 million.
Okay, I'm Clara, so I'm taking over from Michelle for the next few sections. So the top scam type is job scam. So let's first watch this video interview of an actual job scam victim to hear how she had fallen for scam.
We're speaking with Kelly, an 18-year-old student who signed up for an attractive part-time job offer that she received via an unsolicited WhatsApp message. A text message on WhatsApp and need to be part-time job, which requires you to write TikTok videos. But at that time it was COVID season, so there wasn't any much opportunity out there. At first it was just so easy, but later on she just introduced me to this website. So the website itself has a secure lock. It showed some celebrating online shopping apps like Lazada. Makes you want to trust this website more. For this website, it requires me to complete grabbing 60 orders. I'll get 15% of the commission. She actually handed me her account, so I don't have to top up any money, and it just went smoothly. I did actually get back my money to my bank account. It was actually on the fourth day that it started going downhill. So once we reached negative, myself had to deposit money into the account to make sure it stays positive and continue grabbing orders until it's 60 orders in order to restore the money lah. I keep depositing the money because it's going to a negative balance, and I was stopped at a 48 order. Deposit another 11k, but I've already put in 15k into the account. Eventually, I did write to the money lender. It just so happened that I come across this advertisement on my phone through text message. It requires me to deposit 3.6k to open the account for the money to go through. After the 3.6k, it actually requires me to deposit another 3.9k. That was the last straw already, so I then went to the police station to report both of the scam actually.
So this slide put in words what was explained earlier in the video. So always bear in mind, if you're required to make any upfront payment for a job, it is a red flag. Do not fall for it. So these are examples of the recent job scam platforms such as YouSpeak Technology, Angels Like, and Eab Job Scam. So these scammers often make use of social media to widen their reach to potential job seekers. Sometimes the scam platform will offer commission or perks when the existing member managed to recruit new members. This enables the scammers to increase the victim base exponentially. So since we're on job scam, I would like to surface a similar scam, which is work from home scam. The scammer would require the job seeker to use his personal bank account to transfer funds for a salary or commission, while the criminals behind this advertisement would not indicate that the funds are actually proceeds of crime. You should be wary that such a job is simply too good to be true. It is unusual for a legitimate business to use your personal bank account to carry out a business. You can also see at the bottom of the slide, it is an offense to carry out a business in payment services in Singapore without a license. So ensure that your accounts are only used for your personal banking needs. Every transaction in your account, you are responsible for it. So if you happen to receive any funds of unknown origins, do not deal with the money. Immediately report it to your bank and the police, because money laundering is an offense. So next is the non-bank phishing scam. So this has been extensively covered by CSA. So I'll just cut to the chase and bring you through some common names that victims fall for. So some examples include SingPost and DHL. So the scammers would usually send some kind of broadcast SMS to a wide scope of victims. So whichever victim who fall for it, click on this link, will be brought to a fake phishing website that requests victim to key in their banking credentials. So next is fake survey scam. These scammers will often promise victim monetary rewards for their participation in the survey. Victims are told to scan a QR code in order for the commission to be dispersed. The QR code is actually a SingPass QR code. Unknown to the victim, when he scans this SingPass QR code, it would provide the scammers the access to victims' digital services. Thereafter, the scammers would misuse the access granted for fraudulent purposes such as registering businesses, subscribing for new mobile lines, or even opening new bank accounts under the victim's name. Victim will only realize something was amiss when he is notified of these transactions by their telecommunication service provider, the bank, or when they receive notification in their SingPass inbox that their particulars has been retrieved. Next is the e-commerce scams. Most of us are very familiar with shopping online, such as Shopee, on Lazada, Qoo10, Carousel. Sometimes we see better deals online, and especially if they offer a steep discount below the market price, many people would jump on the offer and quickly place the order online. After placing the order, the seller may message the victim to offer a faster shipping or a better deal if it can be done outside the online shopping platform. When the victim agrees to it, the victim will be asked to cancel the order online, take the order offline, and WhatsApp the seller separately. The seller will ask to pay upfront by transferring to their bank account and also assure the victim that he's a genuine seller. He may even send you the IC, claiming that it is his IC. At the end of the day, the item never arrives and the seller blocks the victim on WhatsApp. So the red flags in such scams are seller offering very tempting deals, limited sets, and pressurize you to take the order offline to secure the deal. Remember to always complete the transaction on the online shopping platform. At least you're protected by the safeguards put in place by the online shopping platform. Also, now that concerts are coming back, please be reminded to only purchase from official ticketing platforms. Should you decide to purchase off unverified third parties, you may have to bear your own risk as they may turn out to be scammers.
I will take over on investment scams, which is the fourth scam type. Generally, we see two types of investment scam. The one where victim befriends a scammer on social media, dating, or chat app, and the other where victims click on pop-up ads while surfing online. In the former, victim and scammer starts chatting and befriending each other. When the friendship is struck and the victim's guard is down, the scammer starts to share money-making opportunities like a good investment on particular website or investment app like the one you see on the right, and tell you that they have made quite good returns and that they have insider information and they want to share with you so that you do not miss the money-making opportunity. So to prove that point, the scammer sends you some screenshots to entice you with the profits in his account. Now, all these are usually fake websites trading in cryptocurrencies or investment apps where no actual trading takes place. You will be asked to transfer money to some unknown individual or overseas bank accounts. At first, the scammer will bait you with profits and small successful withdrawal. Say you put in $100 and get back $120. So the human greed comes into play after you successfully withdraw. You put in more money, then you realize that your investments go up and you put in even more. And subsequently, your investments will get stuck and you need to pay taxes or admin fees in order to get back your money. So at the end of the day, you do not receive back any money at all. Okay, so what you see on screen is the SMSs on fake loan scams. All right. I frequently receive SMSs with offers of loan with low interest rates and fast approval. Do you also receive that? I'm sure you would have. Some even claim that they are so-and-so company and that there is no credit check required for your loan application. We need to know that in Singapore, companies giving loans to public are required to be licensed, and these licensed moneylenders are not allowed to solicit or advertise. So if you receive SMSs, WhatsApp, or even voice calls to your phone purporting to be licensed moneylenders, please be wary and hang up. So what will happen when you respond and ask for a loan? They will ask you to take photo of the front and back of your IC and your bank account details, pay different fees. Sometimes they also send you fake MAS letters to convince you of certain fees you needed to pay for the loan to be disbursed. So if you refuse to pay, they may start threatening or harass you like along, since they already know where you stay. In the end, instead of getting a loan, you end up paying possibly more than what you initially said to borrow. So when you give out your personal particulars, the scammers can then use your particulars against you. Your bank account may receive fraudulent proceeds from other scam victims, and you end up being investigated for being a money mule. So if you need a loan, please go to the bank or financial institution. In that way, you will never get scammed. Next is the non-banking related phishing scams. I will briefly touch on this, which is similar to the non-banking related phishing scam, except that the scammer pretends that he is from the banks, sending you SMS or email links with the 5 common types of messages on the screen, okay, to prompt you to click on links that bring you to fake banking website. In fact, the spoof SMS can appear in the same thread of SMS from your bank. So you may not suspect that they are actually not from your bank. If you notice, the banks are actually moving away from SMS notifications to in-app push notifications to protect customers from such SMS fraud. You can do your part to safeguard your money by going directly to the bank websites instead of clicking on links. Again, don't give away your OTPs. OTPs are like the keys to your house. Now, this is what you see on the OCBC banking bank phishing scam that was quite rampant at the end of last year. You have noticed these news articles on the right of the slide. Okay, so typically what happens is that the victims had received SMSs like the ones you see on your left, okay, where there's a link and they click on the link and they are led to a fake website. After keying in the access code and PIN and OTP, scammers then gain control of the bank accounts and can transfer out your monies. Next, we have social media impersonation scams. For social media impersonation scams, scammers use spoofed or compromised social media accounts to approach you. Okay, they pretend to be your friends, your relatives. They ask for your phone numbers, OTP, and bank details on the pretext of participating in certain contests, survey, or lucky draw, or even claim a voucher. When you assume they are who they claim they are, you may not give too much thought to their request since you would trust them. So when the next best thing you know is that there are unauthorized transactions in your bank account, credit card, or mobile e-wallet. So if you had given out your WhatsApp OTP, the scammer would be able to take over your WhatsApp account and access your contact list. He can then send similar requests to your contacts or even ask for a loan. The scammers then make away with your money while you bear the angst of from your family and friends who believe that they had actually loaned money to you. So in order to protect yourself, never share your OTP with anyone, even your close ones, okay? Unless they are in line sight of where you are, and then you see them personally keying that in. But in any other situation, please do not share your OTP because they are really meant to be the last key to your gate, whatever that is, all right? And please activate the 2FA for your WhatsApp account for added protection.
So next we come to internet love scam. As the name suggests, the scam builds on an online romantic relationship between the scammer and the victim. The scammer usually portrays himself as an attractive person with a respectable job, such as a lawyer, pilot, war veteran, or doctor. He spends a long time to cultivate a relationship with the victim, sometimes to convince the victim that he's wealthy. The scammer will even ask the victim to log into his iBanking, internet banking, and not knowing that the bank website sent by the scammer is a fictitious one, a fake one. The victim would believe that the scammer is rich and believe that the scammer trusts her entirely as he let her access his bank account. Eventually, the scammer may claim that he is encountering a business failure, medical emergency, or require help with paying some lawyer fee to unlock a huge inheritance waiting for him. He then approached the victim for monetary assistance. He may also lavish the victim with praises and love and will claim to have sent the victim with a huge gift. Subsequently, the courier company may contact the victim to pay for certain custom fee, delivery fee, in order for the gift to be delivered. Of course, the courier company is a fake one also. The victim ends up sending her hard-earned money to the scammer. When the victim's money gets depleted, the scammer may even ask the victim for help in receiving and transferring money. The money that entered the victim account may end up being other scam victims' money. So not only was the victim cheated of hard-earned money, she may end up being investigated by the police for helping to receive scam money, tainted monies. Affairs of the heart may be illogical at times, so be wary of people you know online, especially those who try to flatter you and make you feel very special. Be very skeptical when they start asking you for money or bank accounts. Do not believe what they claim to be, since they can claim to be anything in the virtual world. Next is China official impersonation scam. As the name suggests, the scammers would impersonate as China police officers or Interpol police officers, so as to make you believe that you're involved in money laundering or criminal offenses in China. So I believe many of you have actually received scam calls, such as one from MOH. So this scam usually begins with an automated call claiming to be from the Ministry of Health, MOH. You are then prompted to press a number to speak to the operator for assistance. A Mandarin-speaking officer will then ask how he can assist you by asking for your name and IC to check against his database. Then he asks for your address to verify your identity. He will inform you that based on his records, your credit card was used to make fraudulent purchases. Another scenario he will give may be you ordered prohibited items and that is stopped at the customs. Another scenario is you spread fake news on COVID-19. Ultimately, you're informed that you are involved in criminal or money laundering offenses in China and you will be arrested. Naturally, you'll feel wrong and deny any allegations. They will impress upon you that they will investigate the matter and you have to keep the matter confidential and not to tell anyone about it. They may send runners to send official looking documents to you. You can see these official looking documents on this slide. So now that they have already obtained your particulars, it's no surprise that these documents will show your own particulars and photos. They will also convince you to either transfer your money or hand over cash as bail to other local bank accounts and hand over your bank account for them to investigate the money in the account. They will also request that you report to them 3 to 4 times a day. In some cases, victims who are students from China were even instructed by the scammers to stage a kidnap and remain uncontactable. What the scammer wanted to do is to get their parents to pay ransom money. The scammers will also warn the victim that the Singapore police may come to ask about the victim and will tell the victim that Singapore police is very corrupted. So many a times when Singapore police approach these victims, they do not actually believe Singapore police. They tend to believe these scammers more because they have been brainwashed by them. So remember this, foreign law enforcement officers cannot exercise any investigation powers in Singapore without the approval of Singapore government. Do not believe in ruses like this. When you receive automated calls, especially those with +65 prefix, or calls originating from overseas, hang up. We are also aware of a similar variant where scammers pretend to be from Singapore Police Force, using photos of real police officers in their WhatsApp profile picture. There are also video calls with scammers in look-alike police uniform and caps. They ask for your card details, personal particulars, internet banking credentials, OTPs. So do not believe in these scammers. Police officers, the real police officers, will never ask you to transfer money or request your iBanking credentials.
Now, on the 10th scam type we have is fake friend call, also commonly identified as guess who am I. You receive a call from an unfamiliar phone number and the caller may even greet you by name. I have received such calls twice this year. First time I returned a missed call as there were 6 missed calls and I thought it could have been an important call. But I resisted guessing the caller name, and all he did was to tell me that he would WhatsApp me later, but nothing came. The second time it happened, I tested by giving a random name. Surely it is correct. The caller then told me that he has actually lost his phone at the food court and needed to borrow money. Knowing the rules, I just told him that he still haven't paid me back what he borrowed. So he asked me to text him my bank account and he will pay me. Of course, I did not. This scam type is not new, but has resurfaced. When a caller greets you by name, please stay calm and do not feel obliged to guess, because any random name will be correct. The next scam type that I would like to remind all audience here is this email impersonation scam, which is relevant to all of us since emails are commonly used at work. So be mindful that scammers may pretend to be your superior and send emails to you to request for your help on an urgent basis to buy gift cards like iTunes cards and then promise to reimburse you. The person will also claim to be engaged in a meeting and cannot take your calls. So you may feel obliged to quickly send over the redemption codes. If you do receive such email requests, please verify the request. Do not act on it just because the person claimed to be your supervisor. In any way, if you do receive a request to change any bank account details for payment while you are working and processing payments, please do verify the request via phone call to the usual phone number. Email addresses can be spoofed, so be alert. At the same time, I would like to touch a bit on tech support scam to create awareness on the scam type. You typically receive a call from supposedly Singtel, for example, telling you that there are some network issues on your home internet service, or perhaps you are browsing something online or watching certain movies and a pop-up message appear on your computer screen asking you to call a toll-free number for technical support. Please do not believe such users. Clara will next share with you why everyone is vulnerable to scams and how scammers exploit victims.
So next is the victim vulnerabilities. So contrary to belief, people fall victim to scam not only because they're naive. In fact, anyone, any gender, any educational background, professional background is susceptible to scam. Why is this so? As research shows, it can be broadly attributed to 6 different cognitive biases. Human is in fact the weakest link. It is important to be able to recognize these biases and always exercise vigilance in order to avoid being scammed. So the first type of bias that we can see here is confirmation bias. The victim may tell himself, I received some monies, this one cannot be scammed. The second type, sunk cost fallacy. I invested so much already, let me try a bit more. The third type, optimism bias. It will never happen to me. I've not been so stupid to fall for it. The fourth type, near miss effect. Last transfer already, I'm almost there. The fifth type, overconfidence bias. I won't fall for scams because I know what scammers do. The sixth type, fundamental attribution error. He sent me gifts, and so he must be trustworthy. Okay, these are the 7 principles of social influence to induce scam compliance among the victims. So scammers may use a combination of more than 1 or 3 or 4 to perpetrate their scams. So the first type we see here is authority, which is very commonly seen in China official impersonation scam. They impose a certain authority to control the victim. Next is reciprocity and liking, which is common in internet love scam. Scarcity, which is common in e-commerce scam. The next 3 are commitment, unity, social proof, which can be used in a combination with the other types of principles of social influences.
Okay, so you have heard so much about scams already. So what can you do to protect yourself? For those on iPhone, if you have not already downloaded the Scam Shield, please do. There is a QR code at the bottom right where you can scan to download it, or else you can find it in Apple App Store. I'll leave you with 15 seconds to scan the QR code if you need it. Okay, we'll move on. So how Scam Shield works is that it will work in the background to filter scam messages and block calls from numbers reported to be used in illegal activities. You can also report scam messages from other chat apps in the reporting function. It does not intrude into your privacy, so it sounds great, isn't it? For Android users like me, please be patient, and the Android version should be out in a couple of months. So these are some takeaways from today's session. Stay updated on the latest scams via www.scamalert.sg and the good cyber tips at CSA's website via www.csa.government.sg. Additional information on investment scams can be found at www.moneysense.sg. Always exercise caution when you answer unsolicited calls or text messages originating from overseas. Remember the stranger danger online, it applies to adults as well. Be slow to click and/or accede, but quick to verify and reason. Rationalize what you have been told, talk to a friend, slow down to think through, enable two-factor authenticity, never divulge your OTP, exercise due diligence, use strong passphrases. If you or your loved ones are victims of a scam, quickly call your credit card issuing company or bank to report the matter. Lodge a police report soon as possible. You can also call the anti-scam hotline at 1-800-722-6688 whenever in doubt. Okay, now it's quiz time. You can scan the QR code on the screen. It is not a scam QR code, so feel free to do so. You can test your understanding and your scam savviness index. This is the National Crime Prevention Council website.
I think thanks very much, Desmond, Michelle, Clara, for answering all the questions. I think we've answered quite a lot of them. And I think please do visit the resources here that's been flashed on the screen to actually revisit your learning from this webinar. And we will also be uploading the slides of today's, the recording of today's webinar on our YouTube page. So you can visit it within a week and share it with also your friends and family so that they will be more alert to scams. So I hope this was very helpful for all of you. And I want to thank CSA as well as SPF for generously giving the time to conduct this seminar for us.